Chapter 167. Welcome Sect Patriarch. Lowering their heads, Li Fuchen and the rest greeted in unison. The white-clothed man smiled. I already know of your achievements this time. You did well and didn't tarnish the prestige of our Azure Water sect. As the saying goes, rewards must be given for contributions and punishments must be made. Apart from Li Fuchen, the rest of you can meditate beside the sword monument for free for 10 days. Li Fuchen can meditate for free for a month. Sword monument? Lu Wuhuang and the rest revealed a fanatical expression. The sword monument was one of the sacred grounds of the Azure Water sect. It was made from the renowned stone of martial Dao. The stone of martial Dao didn't have anything special, but it could store a person's martial Dao intent. Since the establishment of the Azure Water sect, the monument had existed. There were countless sword scars on it, which were left behind by generations of Azure Water sect experts. Comprehending beside the sword steel could rapidly increase one's sword Dao foundation. There were many direct disciples who cultivated a mystic-class low-tier sword art to the trance stage and comprehended the sword intent. Although Lu Wuhuang and Xiao Libi had already comprehended the sword intent, there was no end to the sword. 10 days was enough for them to improve their sword Dao foundation by a large margin, and their sword intent would also improve by a large margin. If they didn't rely on the sword steel, not to mention 10 days, even 100 days would be difficult. Meditating beside the sword monument required 100,000 contribution points for a day. It was imaginable how useful it was. 100,000 contribution points for a day, that would be 3 million for a month. Li Fuchen was elated to save 3 million contribution points. He decided that he wouldn't be in a hurry to use this month's free opportunity. He would wait until he reached a bottleneck in his sword Dao before going to the sword monument. Such a good opportunity, he naturally had to make full use of it. You guys, hurry up and thank the sect patriarch. Zhao Wujin said. Thank you sect patriarch. Li Fuchen and the rest replied in unison. The white-clothed man waved his hand. No need to thank me. This is what you deserve. Looking at Li Fuchen, the white-clothed man asked, You are a normal bone frame? Li Fuchen replied, Sect Patriarch, I consumed a 7-color glazed grape in the 100 Herbs hidden domain. I should be a 1-star bone frame now. 7-color glazed grape? The white-clothed middle-aged man's face flashed with surprise. This earth-level herb, the Azure Water sect didn't even have a few stalks. Once one was found, it would immediately be stored in the treasury. Of course, if it was any other earth-level herb, he might be tempted. However, the rainbow-glazed grape was not enough to tempt him. He might have his own clan and there were plenty of clan members that were below the 3-star bone frame. But to him, whether they were 3-star bone frames or 2-star bone frames, there was no difference. He wouldn't waste his effort to nurture them as it wasn't worth it. In other words, before this, you are a normal bone frame. Interesting. The white-clothed middle-aged man came to the side of Li Fuchen. Don't be nervous, let me check your body. He didn't believe that Li Fuchen was just a normal bone frame before this. Perhaps it was some special bone frame that the bone frame stone couldn't detect. And he, after all, is a shedding body realm martial artist. If there is anything special, he can more or less detect. Li Fuchen didn't say anything, but he was a little nervous. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the sect patriarch really found the golden amulet, what should he do? Pressing his right hand on Li Fuchen's shoulder, the white-clothed middle-aged man released a gentle qi into Li Fuchen's body. This gentle qi was very mystical. Li Fuchen's qi didn't have any reaction, as though this qi was a part of Li Fuchen and didn't reject it at all. Only the golden amulet in Li Fuchen's soul spirit was revolving vigorously. The white-clothed middle-aged man's brows gradually furrowed. The qi roamed around Li Fuchen's body and didn't find anything. The current Li Fuchen was indeed a 1-star bone frame. This child's perception is abnormally high. Perhaps there is something strange in his head. The white-clothed middle-aged man wasn't afraid that the gentle qi would hurt Li Fuchen. He had this confidence. With a thought, the gentle qi slowly flowed towards Li Fuchen's head. Half a moment later, the white-clothed middle-aged man shook his head with a look of disappointment. But soon enough, this disappointment disappeared. Seems like your bone frame is indeed very ordinary. It is probably because your soul spirit is innately strong, which resulted in an exceptional perception. In terms of the soul spirit, he couldn't examine it. To mortals, the soul spirit was a forbidden zone and was the domain of gods. Although your bone frame is very ordinary, but you don't have to worry about it. As long as you perform well, the sect will not mistreat you and will definitely do our best to nurture you. And I also want to see how far you can go. This time, he came mainly for Li Fuchen, but it was a pity that he didn't find anything on Li Fuchen's body. All right, Elder Zhao, make the following arrangements. I will take my leave first. The white-clothed middle-aged man lost interest and didn't intend to stay any longer. Sect Patriarch, rest assured. Zhao Wujin sent the white-clothed middle-aged man off. After the sect Patriarch left, the golden amulet in Li Fuchen's soul spirit stopped revolving. His body was covered in cold sweat. Sensing Li Fuchen's nervousness, Zhao Wujin laughed. Don't be too nervous. The sect Patriarch has a distinguished status. If he can personally come over to examine your body, it means that he values you very much. Back then, Sword Maniac didn't have such treatment. Sword Maniac naturally didn't have such treatment. Sword Maniac was a 4-star bone frame. No matter how heaven-defying he was, it was still considered normal. But Li Fuchen was a little abnormal, which inevitably attracted the curiosity of the upper echelons. Sweeping a glance, Zhao Wujin spoke to the 5 of them. All of you work hard. Becoming a direct disciple is just the beginning. This world is very, very big, much bigger than you can imagine. If you wish to explore the mysteries of this world, you must first increase your cultivation level. Do not be complacent and neglect your cultivation. After giving his instructions, Zhao Wujin asked the deacon to bring the 5 of them to their residences. Just like the first-grade inner sect disciples, direct disciples' courtyards were also on the mountains. But the mountains in the direct disciple region were all towering like the clouds, and the spirit chi was much denser than normal places. Below the waist of the mountain are the residences of the silver-class direct disciples. Above the waist of the mountain are the residences of the gold-class direct disciples. The deacon who led the way for Li Fuchen introduced. Li Fuchen lifted his head to take a look. The mountain peak was so tall that it was impossible to see the peak. Starting from the waist of the mountain, it was surrounded by layers of clouds and couldn't be seen clearly. Xixiang, we have arrived at your residence. In just a short moment, the deacon brought Li Fuchen to a courtyard below the waist of the mountain. Many thanks. Li Fuchen nodded, pushed open the door of the courtyard and walked in. The courtyard was very clean and didn't require much cleaning. Looking at the environment of the courtyard, Li Fuchen's thoughts were no longer here. After coming to the Azure Water sect for a few years, he had never returned. It was time for him to return. But before he returned, he first had to pass the first floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower and become a gold-class direct disciple. He also had to learn the true Inferno technique. Cloud Mist City. It has been a long time since I went back. I wonder if there are any changes. Li Fuchen's eyes had a smear of cold light. The next morning, Li Fuchen arrived at the Direct Inheritance Tower. The Direct Inheritance Tower was a majestic tower with a total of 10 floors. Outside the tower, there were a few direct disciples queuing up. This shitty looks unfamiliar. A few of the direct disciples looked at Li Fuchen. You are ignorant. This shitty is the famous Li Fuchen shitty. He has the title of Sword Demon. During this trip to the 100 Herbs hidden domain, he slaughtered the disciples from the other 3 sections. He is even more ferocious than Sword Maniac Xixiang. Chapter 168. There weren't many people and it was soon Li Fuchen's turn. As for those direct disciples who passed the Direct Inheritance Tower, none of them left. They wanted to see if Li Fuchen could pass the first floor. As a new true disciple, you have 1 year and 3 chances. Junior brother Li, aren't you being too impatient? If you fail, it will be a huge blow to your confidence. To be able to defeat the disciples of the 3 sects, he should have some confidence. I don't think so. It's only the 2nd day. Junior brother Li is too confident. First floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower. The moment Li Fuchen entered, the first layer of the array was activated. A Class 3 mid-tier demonic beast, the Silver Moon Demon Wolf, was formed. The first floor already has mid-rank 3 demonic beasts, no wonder so many people failed. Li Fuchen narrowed his eyes. A Class 3 mid-tier demonic beast was equivalent to a mid-level Earth Realm martial artist who cultivated a mystic class cultivation technique. It was extremely powerful, and this was why out of 500 direct disciples, only 30 of them could become gold-class direct disciples. To pass the first floor with the cultivation of the first level of the Earth Realm was too difficult. The Silver Moon Demon Wolf might be condensed from the power of the array, but its speed wasn't any slower than a real Silver Moon Demon Wolf. The silver horn on its forehead flickered with electric light as it cleaved at Li Fuchen. Crackle! The ground was filled with electric arcs as Li Fuchen dodged. Such speed! If I wait for it to release its lightning bolt, I won't be able to dodge it in time. The only way is to dodge right before it releases its lightning bolt. Drawing his black gold sword, Li Fuchen executed the Meteor Rain Sword. Over 100 sword chi were like dazzling meteors with extreme speed. In just a blink of the eye, they had hit the Silver Moon Demon Wolf. Piu piu piu. On the Silver Moon Demon Wolf's body, there were shallow sword holes, but there was no blood flowing out. The next moment, a silver light flashed on his body, and the sword hole disappeared. Li Fuchen didn't mind. The demonic beast that was condensed by the power of the array was almost immortal. Unless the vital point was hit, it would dissipate. Otherwise, even 100 or 1,000 swords wouldn't be able to kill it. A silver light emerged as the Silver Moon Demon Wolf rushed at Li Fuchen with extreme speed and clawed at him. Twisting his body, Li Fuchen thrust his sword at his opponent's neck and brushed past his shoulder. With all 4 limbs on the ground, the Silver Moon Demon Wolf wasn't injured at all. It turned around and pounced at Li Fuchen again. With the activation of the Mystical Dragon Secret Technique, the Scarlet Fire Chi within Li Fuchen's body was converted into Mystical Dragon Chi in large amounts. The Mystical Dragon Chi was like a magma, and when it burst forth, it was several folds more terrifying than when he was at the Origin Realm. Meteor Fall. This sword was incomparably fast as a beam of light. The Silver Moon Demon Wolf's momentum suddenly stopped. Li Fuchen's sword instantly penetrated the enemy's skull. After a few breaths, the Silver Moon Demon Wolf dispersed. At the same time, the lanterns outside the first level of the Tower of Inheritance lit up. He passed the first level? So fast? The true disciples waiting outside were overwhelmed with shock. They were still debating if Li Fuchen could pass the first floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower. Who would have thought that Li Fuchen didn't just pass the first floor, he did it with such an extreme speed. Junior brother Li's strength is simply earth-shattering. In the future, the legacy area will be lively. That's right. There are too many monsters in the successor area. Although we are also successor disciples, we only broke through in our 30s. There's no way we can compare. After passing the first floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower, Li Fuchen didn't come out. He wanted to experience the difficulty of the second floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower. Just as Li Fuchen expected, the second floor's array formed a demonic beast that was a Class 3 high-tier demonic beast. How formidable was a Class 3 high-tier demonic beast? There was once when the 100 Herbs hidden domain opened and a Class 3 high-tier demonic beast appeared. It caused the 4 major sects' disciples to suffer great losses, and no one was able to contest against it. This was a Class 3 high-tier demonic beast, Red Pattern Bear. Its body was covered in red patterns, and Li Fuchen's sword moves weren't able to injure it at all. It couldn't even break its skin. But a single roar from the bear was enough to cause Li Fuchen's chi and blood to boil and his chi to fluctuate. Rumble! The red-patterned bear swung its paw. The surging chi wave sent Li Fuchen flying and crashing into the walls of the Direct Inheritance Tower. No wonder it is called the Direct Inheritance Tower. Wiping off the fresh blood from the corner of his mouth, Li Fuchen turned and walked out of the second floor. He wasn't a match for a Class 3 high-tier demonic beast yet. As Li Fuchen left, the array stopped revolving and the red-patterned bear vanished. Li Shidi is out. A few of the direct disciples quickly gathered around, Congratulations Li Shidi for passing the first floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower and becoming a Gold-class Direct Disciple. Any Gold-class Direct Disciple was worth befriending. Li Fuchen was a newcomer and naturally didn't want to embarrass these people. He responded to them one by one. Leaving the Direct Inheritance Tower, Li Fuchen once again arrived at the Direct Disciple Grand Hall. You passed the first floor of the Direct Inheritance Tower? Zhao Wujin happened to be around too. When he saw Li Fuchen, he immediately guessed a possibility. Li Fuchen nodded. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. You little brat, you really surprise people. I thought you would wait for a month or two before going. Zhao Wujin laughed and wasn't too surprised. With Li Fuchen's ability, if he went earlier or later, the result wouldn't be too different. After all, his ability was still there. This is your Gold-class Direct Disciple token. Give me your original token. Zhao Wujin had already prepared Li Fuchen's Gold-class Direct Disciple token and handed it over to Li Fuchen. Crackle! Li Fuchen's Silver-class Direct Disciple token was immediately crushed by Zhao Wujin. Grand Elder, since I am now a Gold-class Direct Disciple, can I go to the Martial Hall to redeem the true Inferno technique now? Li Fuchen asked. Of course you can. Go then. Zhao Wujin replied. Thank you, Grand Elder. Li Fuchen walked out of the Direct Disciple Grand Hall and headed towards the Direct Disciple Region's Martial Hall. The true Inferno technique was worth 8 million contribution points and half price was 900,000. But Li Fuchen only obtained the first 18 ranks and was temporarily unable to redeem the remaining 3 ranks. It is enough. Li Fuchen didn't mind. At this current stage, he didn't expect to cultivate the true Inferno technique to a high rank. After becoming a Gold-class Direct Disciple, Li Fuchen moved to the courtyard at the waist of the mountain. There were a total of 5 mountain peaks where Direct Disciples resided. Each peak had 100 members and 6 Gold-class Direct Disciples. Li Fuchen's mountain peak, including Li Fuchen, had a total of 7 members. With 7 of them sharing the peak above the waist of the mountain, it was imaginable how much space they had to move around. There was basically no one else in sight. What a great place! The courtyard was huge and had 3 floors. The 3rd floor was like a tea house and had tables that could be used to receive guests. Entering the secret room, Li Fuchen immediately cultivated the true Inferno technique. 3 days later, Li Fuchen's 15th rank Scarlet Mystic Flame technique had turned into the 13th rank True Inferno technique. Chapter 169. Other than redeeming the True Inferno technique, Li Fuchen also redeemed a Mystic class, low-tier sword art, Radiance sword style. This sword art was very dominant. If the Meteor sword style was a reserved dominance, then the Radiance sword style was a flamboyant dominance. One was like a meteor, the other like the sun. In the spacious courtyard, Li Fuchen was practicing the Radiance sword style. Like rays of sunlight, the Radiant sword style wasn't any slower than the Meteor sword style. In fact, it was even faster. Rising sun. A dazzling radiance blossomed as Li Fuchen blasted on the black iron ore that was as tall as a human. A loud sound echoed. The black iron ore was blasted into a hole that was the size of a basin. But if it was the Meteor sword style, it would directly penetrate the black iron ore. The hole was only the size of a fist. One focuses on the area of destruction, the other on penetrating power. Li Fuchen analyzed the differences between the 2 sword arts. Sword arts didn't necessarily have a higher attack power as the speed was faster. The Radiant sword style was faster than the Meteor sword style, but in terms of pure destructive power, it wasn't as good as the Meteor sword style. It was just that the area of destruction was larger. Sometimes, to increase speed, one had to sacrifice power. Among the Mystic class, low-tier sword arts, the Meteor sword style had a near-perfect balance in speed and power. Of course, every sword art had its own specialty. The Radiant sword style was fast and had a large area of destruction, making it hard to defend against. Not all martial artists had high defenses. Against those with average defenses, the Radiant sword style's efficiency would definitely surpass the Meteor sword style. The Radiant sword style is at subcompletion. It is time to return. Li Fuchen wasn't in a hurry to cultivate the radiant sword style to completion. During this period of time, he could slowly cultivate. But before returning, Li Fuchen planned to redeem some resources. The trip to the 100 Herbs hidden domain allowed Li Fuchen to obtain plenty of herbs. Li Fuchen kept some herbs like the Origin Return Herb, Earth-Shattering Fruit, and the 7-color glazed grape. There were also some herbs with special effects that Li Fuchen kept too. But other than herbs, Li Fuchen felt that he should redeem some pills back. In Yunwu City, yellow class, high-tier pills were considered very precious pills. It was imaginable how scarce the resources were. In a single breath, Li Fuchen redeemed pills worth 500,000 contribution points, which included yellow class, high-tier and peak-tier pills. After redeeming pills, Li Fuchen went to the direct disciple Grand Hall and applied to return home. Different levels of disciples had different degrees of freedom. Outer sect disciples were not allowed to apply to return home. Inner sect disciples had a lot more freedom. They could return home during missions, so there was no need to apply. As for true disciples, they didn't have to carry out many missions, so they could apply to return home for 3 months every year. At the foot of the mountain, Li Fuchen rode on the Class 2 demonic blood horse and galloped towards Yunwu City. Cloud Fog City. Li family. The current head of the Li clan was Li Yunhai and Li Yunhe's father, Li Taizhan. After becoming the Li clan patriarch, Li Taizhan was in high spirits. On normal days, he had access to a lot of resources. With these resources, he had already progressed from the 7th level of the Origin Realm to the 8th level of the Origin Realm. In just a few more years, he would be able to advance to the 9th level of the Origin Realm. If he could advance to the 9th level of the Origin Realm before the age of 50, he would have the hope of advancing to the Earth Realm. In Yunwu City, any Earth Realm martial artist was the ultimate strength. Even the City Lord was only at the 5th level of the Earth Realm. Patriarch, please seek justice for Little Dai and Little Dai's father. Outside the main hall, the beautiful but pale Li Xiaodai stubbornly knelt there, with tears flowing down her face. Seeing Li Xiaodai again, Li Taizhan was a little angry. It had been a month and she would kneel here at this time every day, asking him to seek justice for her. Li Xiaodai, this matter is your father's own fault. What status does Shen Tu Lang have? What status do you have with your father? It is your fortune that he likes you. Your father disregarded his own status and risked his life against Shen Tu Lang. He was beaten to death by Shen Tu Lang. Who else can you blame? Go back now and stop causing trouble here. If not, don't blame me for punishing you according to the clan's rules. He had already accepted 5 yellow class, high-tier pills from the Shen Tu clan. Hence, he couldn't seek justice for Li Xiaodai. He didn't even want to seek justice for Li Xiaodai. 2 hours later, Li Xiaodai had a sorrowful expression as she silently left. This wretched lass, I have to find an opportunity to marry her off. Leaving her in the Li clan is a disaster. Li Taizhan thought to himself. In a remote corner of the Li clan, Li Tianhan and Xin Yuan couldn't help but sigh when they saw Li Xiaodai returning in a daze. They sympathized with Li Xiaodai, but they couldn't make the decision. Li Taizhan, this bastard. He can't even protect his own clansmen. What kind of patriarch is he? Li Tianhan was enraged. Shen Yuyan replied, Tianhan, don't worry. Fuchen has already progressed to the 7th level of the Origin Realm. In a few more years, he will be back. By then, the Li clan will be back on track. Their news was from a few months ago. The latest news hadn't been sent back yet. Li Tianhan spoke with concern. I am just worried that when Fuchen returns, the Li clan will be in a terrible state. That shouldn't be the case. You have to be confident. I will go get some food for Li Xiaodai. Xin Yuyan spoke as she carried the food to Li Xiaodai's courtyard. The Zhanglan sect wasn't too far from Yunwu City, but neither was it close. Half a month later, Li Fuchen finally returned to Yunwu City. Looking at the familiar place and the familiar scenery, Li Fuchen's heart was filled with emotions. When he left, he was only 15 years old. When he returned, he was already 19 years old. Nearly 5 years had passed in an instant, making him feel rather unreal. Urging the demonic blood horse, Li Fuchen galloped towards the Li clan. Class 2 Demonic Blood Horse, TSK. Along the way, several patrolling soldiers noticed Li Fuchen, especially the Class 2 Demonic Blood Horse that Li Fuchen was riding. "Captain, why does he look so familiar?" One of the patrolling soldiers said to the patrol squad leader. "We have been patrolling the outskirts of the city every day. There are many familiar faces. Maybe he is a young master from a clan that has just returned." The patrol squad leader replied. "Captain, I remember now. He is Li Fuchen, the former young clan head of the Li clan. You aren't joking, right? I received news that Li Fuchen is doing well in the Zhanglan sect and is already at the 7th level of the Origin Realm. The Li clan is going to be lively. The current Li clan head isn't Li Fuchen's father, Li Tianhan, but Li Taizhan. But this Li Taizhan knows how to conduct himself and is doing rather well with our master Shin Tu Lang. It won't be that lively. He is just a 7th level Origin Realm martial artist and has a normal bone frame. Who knows if he can progress to the Earth Realm in this lifetime? In the Li clan, there are still a few Earth Realm martial artists. He can't do much. For you. This is the Li clan. Get off your horse." At the main entrance of the Li clan, 2 stone lions stood on the left and right. They were extremely imposing. Outside the main entrance stood 2 rows of Li clan martial artists. The leader shouted. Chapter 170. Hearing this, many of the Li clan's martial artists sized up Li Fuchen. A familiar face, a very familiar face. "It's young Master Fuchen?" One of the Li clan's martial artists was surprised. Li Fuchen had changed too much. A few years ago, Li Fuchen was only 1.6 meters tall. A few years later, Li Fuchen was 1.8 meters tall. Although it was the same as before, his body didn't look strong, but it didn't give people the feeling of being thin and weak. The face of the past was now incomparably handsome with distinct edges. "But after a few years, you don't even recognize me?" Li Fuchen asked. "So it is young Master Fuchen. Welcome back. I shall inform the Patriarch then." Master Tianhan. The leader of the Li clan's martial artists rushed into the Li clan. Getting off the horse, Li Fuchen walked into the Li clan under the watchful eyes of the Li clan's martial artists. It was now lunchtime and Li Taizhan was having lunch with his wife, Su Mingshan. "I wonder how Yunhai is doing in the Zhanglan sect?" Su Mingshan asked. Li Taizhan replied, "Don't worry. Yunhai is now an inner sect disciple of the Zhanglan sect. We don't have to worry about him." Li Yunhai had a 2-star bone frame after all. Last year, he was officially promoted from an odd job disciple to an outer sect disciple. This year, he broke through to the 1st level of the Origin Realm. Even though he had a rough time during the inner sect disciple exam, he still passed the exam and became an inner sect disciple. Say, how did Li Fuchen progress so quickly? 3 months ago, he was already at the 7th level of the Origin Realm. With this speed, wouldn't he be able to break through to the Earth Realm before the age of 25? Su Mingshan couldn't help but ask. Li Taizhan snorted, "Look further ahead. He is just a normal bone frame and will definitely be stuck at the 9th level of the Origin Realm for a long time. Who knows when Yunhai will catch up and he still hasn't broken through." He didn't believe that Li Fuchen could progress to the Earth Realm. A 2-star bone frame only had a 20% chance of progressing. A normal bone frame's advancement rate was infinitely close to 0. "I hope so." Su Mingshan nodded. "Dad, Mom, Jiyu and I are back." Li Yunhe walked into the dining hall. Beside him was an average-looking girl who was about 20 years old. Li Taizhan and Su Mingshan quickly put down their chopsticks. "Yunhe, Jiyu, how is it? How's the scenery around Cloud Fog City? It should be pretty good, right? But you're really something, going out so early in the morning and only coming back now. Jiyu must be tired." The two of them were very polite to Xiang Jiyu, even with a little bit of respect. Xiang Jiyu nodded proudly. Su Mingshan smiled at Xiang Jiyu and said, "Jiyu, what do you want to eat? I'll get someone to prepare it immediately." Although the food on the table hadn't been touched, Su Mingshan didn't plan to let him eat the leftovers. Xiang Jiyu said, "I'm at the Xiang clan. A meal only costs a few gold coins. Anything is fine. She had just arrived at the Li clan a few days ago and received the Li clan's hospitality. Mom, just cook whatever is good. You should know that Jiyu isn't used to normal food. Li Yun has said. In fact, he didn't really like Xiang Jiyu. After all, Xiang Jiyu's looks were too average. But the Xiang clan was the silver-rich city's city lord's clan and had a huge background. Xiang Jiyu's cousin brother was a direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. His status was even higher than a regular city lord. If he could marry Xiang Jiyu, his future days would definitely be much better. With the support of a huge amount of resources, he might even be able to advance to the Earth realm. Alright, I'll get someone to prepare it. Li Taizhan didn't have the dignity of a patriarch anymore. Whether the Li clan could form a connection with the Xiang clan would depend on the development of their relationship. Patriarch. Just as Li Taizhan was about to instruct the servants to prepare the food, a Li clan's martial artist rushed in from outside the dining hall. Li Tieshan's expression darkened. There is a guest here. Why are you panicking? What a scandal. This Li clan's martial artist was the guard at the door. He said, Patriarch, young Master Li Fuchen is back. He is now waiting in the main hall. Li Fuchen. Li Tieshan's eyes shrunk and shot out a terrifying ray of light. Li Fuchen. Li Yunhe was startled too. He and Li Fuchen hadn't seen each other for over 4 years. For the past 4 years, he would receive news about Li Fuchen every few months. Knowing that Li Fuchen had a meteoric rise in the Zhanglan sect, Li Yunhe was extremely jealous. This was also the reason why he pursued the Xiang clan's young lady, Xiang Jiyu. Who is this Li Fuchen? Xiang Jiyu's intuition told her that this Li Fuchen wasn't a simple character. Li Yunhe replied, he is a clansman of my Li clan. He is now an inner sect disciple of the Zhanglan sect. Just an inner sect disciple. Is there a need to pay so much attention? Xiang Jiyu said with disdain. She wouldn't even put regular inner sect disciples in her eyes. Her Xiang clan's background was much deeper than the Shintu clans. Her eldest uncle was the silver-rich city's city lord, her grandfather was the Zhanglan sect's outer sect elder, her youngest uncle was the Zhanglan sect's inner sect deacon. As for inner sect disciples, her Xiang clan had over 20 of them. In short, the Xiang clan's background wasn't something a small city lord's clan like Yunwu City could compare with. Silver Rich City was a mid-sized city with a population of 600,000. Hearing this, Li Yunhe felt much more confident. Indeed, there isn't a need to pay so much attention. Li clan's remote courtyard. Master Tianhan. At the same time, a Li clan's martial artist arrived at the courtyard. What's wrong? Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan walked out. The two of them felt a little strange as the Li clan's martial artist rarely came to inform them. Master Tianhan, young Master Fuchen is back. He is now in the conference hall. What did you say? Li Tianhan grabbed onto the man's arm and shook it with all his might. Young Master Fuchen is back. Just now. Helpless, the Li clan's martial artist could only repeat himself. Ha Fuchen is back. Yin, let's go and see Fuchen. Li Tianhan was trembling with excitement. It had been over 4 years. They hadn't seen each other for over 4 years. Who knew how much he and his wife missed him? Shen Yin wiped her tears. Rascal. He is finally willing to come back and see mother. In an instant, the Li clan was in a state of chaos. Even the Li clan's elders were rushing to the conference hall. As for the Li clan's founder who was in seclusion, someone had already gone to inform him. In the conference hall, Li Fuchen was slowly drinking tea. Beside him were 2 curious female attendants. Fuchen. Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan were the first to rush to the conference hall. When they saw the familiar yet unfamiliar youth, Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan had complicated emotions, while Xin Yuyan was crying tears of joy. Father, mother. Li Fuchen stood up with a smile and walked towards the two of them. Your son is back. Arriving in front of the two of them, Li Fuchen hugged them. Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan stiffened for a moment before hugging Li Fuchen tightly too. Father, mother, you won't be angry that I didn't pay a visit to your courtyard, right? Li Fuchen asked. Li Tianhan replied, Why would I be angry? You don't even know where we are staying. In short, your mother and I are already very happy that you are back to visit us. Fuchen was still the same Fuchen. It was only his appearance that was unfamiliar, but his chi presence was still so familiar. Father, mother, take a seat. Releasing the two of them, Li Fuchen gestured with his right hand towards the patriarch's seat in the conference hall. Fuchen? Li Tianhan was bewildered. Chapter 171. Fuchen, this isn't a good idea. If you do this, the Li clan will be in chaos. Aren't you being too hasty? Xin Yuyan hesitated. Li Tianhan replied, No hurry. I'm fine now. I eat well and sleep well. I don't have to worry too much. The two of them had too many concerns. The biggest concern was that Li Fuchen had yet to progress to the Earth realm. As long as he didn't progress to the Earth realm, they couldn't be at ease. There were too many unknown factors for a normal bone frame, and anything could happen. A pity that the two of them couldn't see that Li Fuchen had already progressed to the Earth realm. Father, mother, do you think Fuchen is a fool? If I didn't have the confidence, why would I do this? Since I dare to do this, it means that I have absolute confidence and I don't fear anyone. Li Fuchen spoke with confidence. Fuchen, could it be you? Li Tianhan thought of a minute possibility, but from Li Fuchen's expression, this minute possibility seemed to have already happened. Father, they are here. Sit on it if you believe in your son. Li Fuchen sensed something. Forget it, so what if I sit on it? At most, I will be chased off again. Li Tianhan was in a dilemma, but he seemed to be a little excited. He wasn't excited that he could sit on the patriarch's seat again, but excited that Li Fuchen was about to reveal his confidence. Concentrated footsteps could be heard as the Li clan's elders arrived at the conference hall. When they saw Li Tianhan sitting on the patriarch's seat, their mouths were wide open and they were flabbergasted. How dare you, Li Tianhan? Who gave you the guts to sit on it? Are you trying to rebel? Li Tianhan, you still have a chance to come down and apologize. Don't make a mistake. A few of the Li clan's elders who were close to Li Taizhan shouted. Shut up. Li Fuchen glared at them. His disdainful chi presence was like a cold lightning, causing them to shudder. Footsteps could be heard again as Li Taizhan and his group walked in. Seeing Li Tianhan sitting on the patriarch's seat, Li Taizhan laughed in anger. Good for you, Li Tianhan. It seems like you have been thinking about the patriarch's seat. A pity. Do you think that just because you sit on it, it will be yours? Stop dreaming. Get down here right now. Li Taizhan was truly enraged. He, the current patriarch, was still around and yet they dared to disregard him. Don't even mention that Li Fuchen was only at the 7th level of the origin realm. So what if Li Fuchen was at the 9th level of the origin realm? His Li clan wouldn't allow Li Tianhan's clan to act so presumptuously. Li Taizhan, the position of patriarch is for those with virtue and dignity. You, the dignified patriarch of the Li family, fawning over the Shintu family's Shintalang, but Li Xiaodai is a member of our Li family. Her father was killed by Shintalang, yet you don't care. Are you worthy of being the patriarch? Since he was already sitting on the patriarch's seat, Li Tianhan didn't say anything pretentious like he didn't care about the position of patriarch. Li Taizhan said, Li Dajiang only has himself to blame. He can't blame anyone else. Li Tianhan, I'll give you one more chance. Piss off, or don't blame me for punishing you according to the clan's laws. It is a pity that you are no longer the patriarch. Li Fuchen said indifferently. Li Taizhan suddenly looked at Li Fuchen with a sharp gaze. When the elders are talking, how can a junior like you interrupt? And I would like to ask, why am I no longer the patriarch? You have already been deposed. Haha, deposed? Who deposed me? Li Taizhan laughed loudly. Li Fuchen replied. With just you? Li Tiashan's body exploded with a fierce chi presence. No matter what the future held, today he had to bring out the prowess of the patriarch. If not, who else would listen to him? Li Fuchen, you are rebelling. If your father doesn't come down, we will not be courteous anymore. The Li elders who were from the same faction as Li Taizhan all exploded with chi presences and unfriendly gazes. The other Li elders were hesitant and were prepared to wait and see. In an instant, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Your Li family sure is messy. If it was my Xiang clan, such a rebellious descendant would have long been executed. Xiang Jiu looked like she was watching a show. Li Yunhe's expression was extremely gloomy. He replied, "Don't worry, this matter will not end so easily. Li Fuchen's entire family will be severely punished." Li Fuchen let out a light laugh. "Li Fuchen, what are you laughing at?" Li Taizhan asked coldly. Li Fuchen replied, "I am laughing at your overconfidence. Just a bunch of high-leveled origin realm martial artists and you dare to release your chi presence in front of me? Do you think I went to the Zhanglan sect for fun?" As he spoke, Li Fuchen took a step forward and exploded with a horrifying chi presence. In an instant, the temperature in the hall rose by a lot. Under the pressure of Li Fuchen's chi presence, Li Taizhan and his group turned pale. Their bodies felt as though a giant boulder was pressing on them. It was extremely uncomfortable and even breathing was abnormally difficult. Chi presence suppression. How strong is his chi presence? In the conference hall, the observing Li elders were shocked. In general, a 9th-level origin realm martial artist wouldn't be able to suppress a 1st-level origin realm martial artist with his chi presence. Only at the Earth realm would one be able to truly use their chi presence to suppress their opponents. They didn't realize that Li Fuchen was already at the Earth realm. They thought that Li Fuchen cultivated a mystic class technique, which was why his chi presence was so strong. Of course, Li Fuchen only used a weak chi presence. If he burst out with his true chi presence, no one in the conference hall would be able to withstand it. If he intentionally used his chi presence, it would cause everyone's body to crumble. Li Fuchen, what are you trying to do? Are you rebelling? The Li clan will not tolerate your impudence. Right at this moment, outside the conference hall, a majestic chi presence shrouded over. This chi presence was too overwhelming. If Li Taizhan and his group's chi presence was a gentle breeze, then this chi presence was a violent gale. As this chi presence shrouded over, Li Taizhan and his group finally got rid of their burdens. While their faces were pale, their eyes had a flash of joy. The sky of the Li clan wasn't the patriarch or the elders guild, but the founder, Li Xianfeng. As long as the founder appeared, Li Fuchen wouldn't be able to do much. I was just waiting for you to come. Li Fuchen calmly looked at Li Xianfeng, who walked into the conference hall. Li Xianfeng gave a slight nod to Xiang Jiu, then turned to look at Li Fuchen and Li Tianhan. Noticing that Li Tianhan was sitting on the patriarch's seat, his eyes flashed with anger. "Lian, how dare you? Have you forgotten the lesson from last time?" Without waiting for Li Tianhan to speak, Li Fuchen said, "Li Xianfeng, you are my elder. By right, I should address you as great-grandfather. But during the Yunwu City's genius contest, just because you thought highly of Li Yunhai, you wanted me to lose to him on purpose. If that was the case, I would still address you as great-grandfather and founder when we meet today. But you shouldn't have vented your anger on my parents, removing my father from the patriarch's seat and demoting him to a branch lineage. Yes, you can do that because in this world, the strong rules. You are the Li clan's #1 expert. I have nothing to say. How dare you address me by my name? Who gave you the guts?" Before Li Fuchen could finish his words, Li Xianfeng was enraged. His chi presence enveloped Li Fuchen. The entire conference hall was in a state of turmoil. No one dared to make a sound, because the founder was truly enraged. Simply too arrogant. Li Yunhe was flabbergasted. He didn't think that Li Fuchen would address the founder by his name. This was simply lawless. Chapter 172. Fuchen. Under the pressure of Li Xuanfeng's chi presence, Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan found it hard to breathe. They couldn't help but look at Li Fuchen nervously. After all, Li Fuchen was bearing the brunt of Li Xuanfeng's chi presence. "This is your chi presence? Too weak." Li Fuchen remained composed. Li Xuanfeng's imposing chi presence couldn't affect his spirit and body at all. It was like a gentle breeze. At least in the eyes of the crowd, that was the feeling. Li Xuanfeng's pupils shrank and was about to speak. "Let me show you what chi presence is." Without even needing to activate the mystical dragon secret technique, Li Fuchen activated the true inferno technique and released his qi presence. Boom! Like a raging tsunami, like a volcano eruption, a nearly tangible aura burst forth. In the eyes of the crowd, the entire meeting hall was clearly distorting. The ground was distorting, the pillars were distorting, the figures were distorting, the roof was distorting, the void was distorting, everything was distorting, and the feeling of touch was even more intense. It was as if they had fallen into a fiery hell. The scorching heat was disintegrating their soul and will. In an instant, everyone in the conference hall, except for Li Tianhan and Xin Yuyan who were behind Li Fuchen, couldn't even move a finger. They all had a look of fear and their minds went blank. Qi presence wasn't just a qi presence, it was also a spirit will suppression. Under the pressure of Li Fuchen's qi presence, everyone's spirit will was completely warped. This caused their 5 senses to be affected. It was a known fact that even the prodigies of the 3 sects had to flee under Li Fuchen's qi presence. Right now, Li Xuanfeng's face was filled with shock and fear. Was he still human? Just his qi presence alone was enough to suppress him. He was at the 3rd level of the Earth realm and not some random nobody. Even Yunwu City's city lord, Shentu Jianhe couldn't use his qi presence to suppress him. But Li Xianfeng wasn't willing to give up and struggled to break Li Fuchen's qi presence. Li Fuchen let out a cold laugh as his qi presence continued to increase. Li Xuanfeng's face was flushed red and his body was trembling. Li Xianfeng, that day you deposed my father from the patriarch position and demoted him to a branch family. My Li Fuchen's family had nothing to say because we weren't strong enough. Now, what do you have to say? Li Fuchen shouted. Li Xianfeng gritted his teeth, wanting to say something, but after a long while, he didn't make a sound. What else could he say? Who would have known that Li Fuchen's progress was so astonishing? In just a few years, he actually soared from the Qi realm to the Earth realm. Furthermore, it wasn't a regular Earth realm martial artist. A regular Earth realm martial artist wouldn't even be able to match up to 10% of Li Fuchen's Qi presence. His heart was filled with anger and regret. In short, his emotions were extremely complicated. Fuchen, you have progressed to the Earth realm? Li Tianhan finally asked this question. Li Fuchen nodded. Dad, Mom, Fuchen didn't disappoint you. Half a month ago, I progressed to the 1st level of the Earth realm and became a direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. True disciple. Li Tianhan's body trembled as he turned to look at his wife, Xin Yuyan. He found that Xin Yuyan's face was already covered in tears. A true disciple, what kind of concept was that? Except for the main city's city lord, all the other city lords had a status lower than a direct disciple. It could be said that after the inner sect elders, a direct disciple had the highest status. Even outer sect elders couldn't compare. Yunwu City hasn't had a Azure Water sect direct disciple for at least 100 years. Most importantly, Li Fuchen was only 19 years old this year. He was 16 years away from 35 years old. A direct disciple who progressed to the Earth realm at the age of 30 would definitely have a lower status than Li Fuchen. The heavens are too kind to me, Li Tianhan. I have no regrets in this life. Li Tianhan let out a long sigh, unable to control his emotions. At this moment, the patriarch and the Li clan weren't important anymore. Hearing Li Fuchen admit that he was at the 1st level of the Earth realm, Li Taizhan and the rest almost fainted. How was this possible? A normal bone frame actually progressed to the Earth realm at the age of 19 and became a direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. Was there any justice in this world? Li Yunhe's face was extremely pale. He stared blankly at Li Fuchen with a sorrowful heart. He realized that he would never be able to catch up to Li Fuchen in this lifetime. They were both 19 years old, but Li Fuchen was an Earth realm martial artist, while he was just a Qi realm martial artist. How could they even compare? Young Patriarch Fuchen, we know our mistakes, please have mercy. Those Li clan elders who were close to Li Taizhan all panicked. Withdrawing his Qi presence, Li Fuchen ignored the presence of these people and said, from today onwards, Li Tieshan's position as Patriarch shall be replaced by my father, Li Tianhan. Father, I will leave the rest to you to handle. Li Fuchen wasn't the Li clan's patriarch after all. Overstepping his authority to dismiss Li Taizhan was already against the rules. Handing over the clan's matters to his father was the best choice. Taking a deep breath, Li Tianhan nodded and spoke slowly. Li Taizhan, as the previous patriarch, you didn't uphold justice for your clansmen. Instead, you got close to the person who killed your clansmen and accepted their pills. I punish you. Li Tianhan was clear about the Li clan's matters. As long as there was a mistake, he would punish it. As for Li Xianfeng, he was still the founder of the Li clan. Even if he didn't have any merits, he still put in a lot of effort. Punishing the founder in public would cause him to lose the support of the people. Thus, Li Tianhan ignored Li Xianfeng. He believed that after this incident, Li Xianfeng wouldn't dare to flaunt his founder's prowess anymore. Just as Li Tianhan was handing out the punishment, Xianxia spoke. Uncle Li Tiashan's position as patriarch cannot be dismissed. Li Fuchen, you have overstepped your authority. The Li clan might be a small clan in her eyes, but no matter what, a patriarch's position was still important. Xiangjiyu's future husband couldn't be a normal person. The title of young patriarch was much better. You are an outsider. What right do you have to interfere with my Li clan's matters? Li Tianhan frowned. He knew of Xiangjiyu's identity. If it was someone else, he would have thrown her out long ago. I, Xiangjiyu, say what I want to say. There is no need for me to do anything. Xiangjiyu spoke indifferently. Li Fuchen sneered. Who are you? Silver Rich City's Xiang clan's disciple, Xiangjiyu. Li Fuchen, you might be a direct disciple, but this matter is related to me, Xiangjiyu. So you better take a step back. Others might be afraid of Li Fuchen, but she wasn't. Her cousin brother had already become a direct disciple a few years ago. Li Fuchen replied, you probably don't know how high the sky is and how thick the earth is. To tell you the truth, even if you, the Xiang clan patriarch, or the Silver Rich City's city lord is here, you don't have the qualifications to make me take a step back. Get out of the conference hall now, or else don't blame me for locking you up and asking your Xiang clan to come and get your people. Li Fuchen, don't you dare. My cousin brother, Xiang Tianxiang, has already become a direct disciple a few years ago. I dare you to touch me. Xiangjiyu screamed. Xiang Tianxiang, I have heard of him. A mere silver-class direct disciple and you dare to use him to scare me? Get lost. Li Fuchen waved his hand and sent Xiangjiyu flying with a gust of wind. Li Yunhe had a change in expression. Li Fuchen wasn't even afraid of the Silver Rich City's city lord and even said that Xiangjiyu's cousin brother was only a silver-class direct disciple. Then how terrifying was his own identity? Not daring to say a word, Li Yunhe chased after Li Fuchen. Everyone in the conference hall was stunned again. Chapter 173. While Li Tianhan was punishing everyone, the meeting hall was completely silent. After the punishment, no one left. What a joke, with Li Fuchen around, who would dare to leave, not even the ancestor. Li Fuchen glanced at the crowd before his eyes landed on Li Taizhan. What is the matter with Li Xiaodia's father being killed? If you dare to say a word, don't blame me for being merciless. Li Taizhan was already scared out of his wits and didn't dare to hide anything. He even revealed the fact that he accepted 5 yellow-class, high-tier pills from the Shentu clan. His only thought now was to obediently accept his punishment. He didn't dare to have any other thoughts. He was even glad that he didn't push things too far. If not, today's outcome wouldn't be like this. Li Fuchen might even kill to establish his dominance. Send Li Xiaodai in. Li Fuchen instructed a Li clan's elder. Li Xiaodai obviously didn't know that Li Fuchen had already subdued the upper echelons of the Li clan. Seeing that all the upper echelons were present in the conference hall, she couldn't help but kneel down. Her eyes were filled with tears as she spoke stubbornly, "May the Li clan seek justice for Xiaodai." "Xiaodai, stand up," Li Fuchen said. Li Xiaodai hesitantly looked at the Li family ancestor and Li Taizhan. Li Taizhan said, "The young patriarch told you to get up. Why aren't you getting up?" Li Fuchen glared at her. "Since when is it your turn to speak? Xiaodai, don't be afraid. If you have any grievances, tell me. I, Li Fuchen, will help you. Those who deserve to be killed shall be killed, Those who deserve to be punished shall be punished. None shall be spared. This time, he did not plan to live a peaceful life in Cloud Mist City. He wanted to change the sky of Cloud Mist City. Li Xiaodai wasn't a fool. Li Fuchen casually reprimanded Li Taizhan, but no one dared to say anything. It let her know that today's Li Fuchen was no longer the Li Fuchen of the past. Thinking of the grievances and sadness she suffered for the past month, she couldn't help but cry loudly. Her voice was miserable and made people cry. Li Fuchen didn't urge him to speak, but silently looked at him and allowed him to cry to his heart's content. After a long time, Li Xiaodai stopped crying. Li Fuchen spoke gently, "Stand up first. If you have any grievances, tell your big brother Fuchen." Big brother Fuchen. Li Xiaodai stood up with a flash of warmth in her eyes. During this period of time, only Li Fuchen's family brought her warmth. If not, she would have already collapsed. Wiping away her tears, Li Xiaodai told the whole story in much more detail than Li Taizhan. As Li Xiaodai spoke of this matter, many of the upper echelons in the hall were ashamed. They wanted to bury their heads in the ground. Li Fuchen's eyes were getting more and more severe. Traces of murderous qi were drifting from his body. The Shen-Tu family clan deserved death. It all started a few months ago. As she grew older, Li Xiaodai became more and more slender and elegant. Although she couldn't be compared to a beauty like Guan Shui, she was still considered a famous beauty in Yunwu City. One day in Cloud Mist City, Shen-Tu Lang bumped into Li Xiaodai and was instantly attracted by her beauty. This Shen-Tu Lang took advantage of the fact that he was the Shen-Tu family clan's old master and had a high status. Usually he would bully others. Previously, in order to snatch the wife of a small family clan's patriarch, he had framed and caused the small family clan to collapse. As he was used to being arrogant and despotic, Shen-Tu Lang immediately ordered his underlings to capture Li Xiaodai. Unfortunately, that day, his father Li Tianhan accompanied his mother Shen Yuyan to shop in Yunwu City. When he saw his clansmen being bullied, he naturally made a move to chase Shen-Tu Lang away. Maybe it was because of him, Shen-Tu Lang didn't dare to take revenge on his own parents. But he wanted to obtain Li Xiaodia's heart. He didn't die and asked the Li clan's patriarch, Li Taizhan, to betroth Li Xiaodai to him as a concubine. Li Xiaodai naturally didn't agree. Li Xiaodia's father, Li Dajiang, also sternly rejected. They originally thought that this matter was over. But 1 month ago, Li Dajiang and Li Xiaodai came to Yunwu City again and wanted to buy some things. But they were stopped by Shen-Tu Lang, who came after hearing the news. Seeing that his daughter was about to be kidnapped, Li Dajiang exploded and tried his best to resist. A pity that Li Dajiang was just a low-leveled origin realm martial artist. How could he be a match for Shen-Tu Lang and his men? He was knocked down in just a few moves and was severely injured. Maybe he felt that his prestige was damaged. After severely injuring Li Dajiang, Shen-Tu Lang didn't stop. He stepped on Li Dajiang's body step by step until Li Dajiang was trampled to death. Finally, he said to Li Xiaodai that if he didn't forcefully kidnap her today, there would be a day when she would obediently come to his bed. If not, her only mother would not be able to be protected. That day, Li Xiaodia's mother fell sick and was bedridden. What happened next was the matter that Li Xiaodai begged Li Taizhan to seek justice for her every day for the past month. Trash, normal trash. What use does the Li clan have for people like you? With a burst of killing intent, Li Fuchen's qi presence was released once again. Those who were involved were sent flying by Li Fuchen's qi presence and vomited blood, including the Li clan's founder, Li Xianfeng. Li Xianfeng, you are the founder of the Li clan. So what if you are an Earth Realm martial artist? You don't even care about your own clansmen. You don't even have the heart of an expert. No wonder our Li clan has fallen to such a state. Li Taizhan, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? Do you think you are qualified to be the Li clan patriarch? You are just a despicable person. I really want to kill you. And you bunch of elders, all of you only know how to fight for power and benefits, following whichever side is stronger. What difference is there between you and a lackey? Li Fuchen's incisive words caused those who were sent flying to feel their mouths go dry. Especially Li Taizhan, when he felt Li Fuchen's killing intent, he quickly knelt down, Taizhan knows his mistake. I hope Patriarch will punish me heavily and spare my life. Finishing his statement, he looked at Li Tianhan with a pleading look. Li Tianhan didn't have any emotions. Death can be spared, but punishment cannot be forgiven. Men lock him up. Li Xiaodai was stunned. Was this still the youth from the past? In just a few years, he had grown into a towering tree and was no longer a young youth that could be trampled upon. Father, I will leave the rest to you. Xiaodai, follow me to the Shentu clan. Li Fuchen said to Li Xiaodai. Li Tianhan couldn't help but ask, Fuchen, what are you going to the Shentu clan for? His intuition told him that Li Fuchen wouldn't handle this matter gently. To kill. Finishing his statement, Li Fuchen grabbed onto Li Xiaodia's shoulder and flew out of the conference hall. Once Li Fuchen left, most of the people felt their bodies go soft. But none of them dared to leave. Yunwu City, City Lord Residence. The Shentu clan was the City Lord's clan. The clan's location was naturally the City Lord Residence at the center of the city. Who is it? Stop right now, do you want to die? Rumble. The tightly shut main door of the City Lord Residence was blasted away along with the door. Li Fuchen was in front and Li Xiaodai was at the back. The two of them walked into the City Lord Residence one after another. Along the way, the City Lord Residence guards that came to stop them were all sent flying by Li Fuchen's chi presence. There was no need for him to make a move. Where is Shentu Lang? Come out and accept your death. Chapter 174. Who dares to cause trouble at the City Lord's residence? The City Lord's residence was filled with experts. Groups after groups of Origin Realm martial artists rushed out. The leading veteran was actually a first-level Earth Realm martial artist. He let out a shout, drew his sword and thrusted at Li Fuchen. This thrust was as fast as lightning, giving off the feeling of a crossbow. Using 2 fingers, Li Fuchen easily caught the opponent's sword and said, "Such a vicious move. I shall start with you." As he spoke, Li Fuchen circulated his chi and broke the opponent's sword. The foot-long sword in his hand was like a divine weapon, piercing through the opponent's throat. Whoever dares to come forward, don't blame me for killing without mercy. Li Fuchen said coldly. Hearing this, many of the Origin Realm martial artists couldn't help but take a step back. Even the Shentu clan's guest was killed, how would they dare to come forward? They were all waiting for the City Lord to arrive. The City Lord, Shentu Zhenhe, was a 5th-level Earth Realm martial artist. If he were to make a move, this young man in front of him would definitely die. The Shentu clan had plenty of Earth Realm martial artists. There were foreign guests and also the clan's upper echelons. In just a short moment, 5 Earth Realm martial artists rushed over. Looking at the corpse of the guest that was killed by Li Fuchen, they were all enraged. How many years has it been since someone dared to kill in the City Lord's residence? Such audacity and death was not to be regretted. Who are you? How dare you kill in the City Lord's residence? Surrender now and we will leave you with a complete corpse. An Earth Realm martial artist yelled out. Founder, he is Li Fuchen, the former young clan head of the Li clan. One of the Origin Realm martial artists suddenly whispered into the ears of the oldest Earth Realm martial artist. This old man is Shentu Changfeng. You are Li Fuchen? Shentu Changfeng had a change in expression. He knew a little about Li Fuchen's achievements in the Azure Water sect and knew that this child's identity wasn't simple. Since he could easily kill Elder Liao, he was probably at the 9th level of the Origin Realm. Every Azure Water sect disciple was strong. For a 9th-level Origin Realm martial artist to kill a 1st-level Earth Realm martial artist wasn't a difficult task. Get Shentu Lang to come out and see me. I have no interest in getting to know you nobodies. Li Fuchen, so what if you are an inner sect disciple of the Zhanglan sect? This is the City Lord's residence. Even if an outer sect elder of the Zhanglan sect is here, he would have to be polite. Don't bring trouble to your Li clan. Surrender now and we will deal with you leniently. Shentu Changfeng was fuming with rage. Had it not been for the fear of Li Fuchen's inner sect disciple status, he would have already slain Li Fuchen in a single blade. Li Fuchen sneered, your Shentu clan doesn't have the qualifications to make me surrender. Who says my Shintu clan doesn't have the qualifications? Li Fuchen, seems like being an inner sect disciple has inflated your confidence to the point where you dare to come to my residence to kill. You are challenging my prestige. Even if I cripple your martial arts, the upper echelons of the Zhanglan sect wouldn't do anything to me. A dignified voice rang out. It was the Shintu clan's patriarch, Yunwu City's city lord, Shintu Jianhe. As the city lord, Shintu Jianhe's status was equivalent to an outer sect elder and was one level higher than an inner sect disciple. Under normal circumstances, as the city lord of Yunwu City, he naturally wouldn't be able to do anything to Li Fuchen. But if Li Fuchen provoked him for no reason, he had the authority to punish Li Fuchen. Now that Li Fuchen killed his Shintu clan's guest elder, it could be a big or small matter. Even if he crippled Li Fuchen's martial arts, the Zhanglan sect would at most punish him. After all, Li Fuchen offended his superior first, which was definitely a heavy crime in the Zhanglan sect. Li Fuchen lifted his head and saw a middle-aged man walking over from a distance. It was Shintu Jianhe. Shintu Jianhe was 50+ years old this year. He had a tall and sturdy body and was considered handsome. But his aquiline nose and sharp eyes ruined his good looks, giving off a shrewd vibe. Li Fuchen, do you know your crime? Shintu Jianhe's tone was stern. What crime have I committed? What crime have I committed? Barging into my city lord's residence is a crime. Killing my Shintu clan's guest retainer is a crime. Not bowing upon seeing me is also a crime. Going against your superiors is even more of a crime. With so many crimes stacked on top of each other, today I, Shintu Jianhe, shall let you know what crimes you cannot commit. Kiki, so these are the crimes? But in my opinion, there is no need for the Shintu clan to exist. There is also no need for you to exist as a city lord. Audacious! Shintu Jianhe's chi presence burst forth violently. The chi presence of a 5th-level Earth Realm martial artist caused everyone to feel breathless. Li Fuchen replied, blind fool. I am not some inner sect disciple, I am a direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. Revolving the true Inferno technique, Li Fuchen's chi presence burst forth too. Boom! As the two chi presences clashed, Shintu Jianhe's face turned pale. 1st level of the Earth Realm? That's right. You, the city lord of Yunwu City, is nothing in my eyes. Can you call Shintu Lang out now? Li Fuchen spoke coldly. Within the city lord's residence, everyone was flabbergasted. Direct disciple? Li Fuchen was actually a direct disciple? Living in the Azure Water region, they naturally knew that the status of a direct disciple was even higher than a regular city lord. If Shintu Jianhe was the sky of Yunwu City, then Li Fuchen was the sky above. Those Earth Realm martial artists who were clamoring earlier were now trembling in fear and didn't dare to make a sound. This was a confrontation between a direct disciple and the city lord. They didn't have the qualifications to interfere. Taking a deep breath, Shintu Jianhe was after all the city lord of Yunwu City and was extremely shrewd. He ordered, go get Shintu Lang out. He knew a little about the incident with Shintu Lang, but he didn't care. Li Dajiang wasn't an important figure in the Li clan. If he was killed, so be it. What's more, he had already sent 5 yellow-class, high-tier pills as compensation. It was enough to compensate for Li Dajiang's life. But Shintu Lang was his cousin brother after all. He had to protect his life no matter what. Li Fuchen, give me some face and let this matter go. As for Shintu Lang, I have already punished him severely and locked him up in seclusion for a month. Shintu Jianhe felt extremely sullen in his heart. He was the dignified city lord of Yunwu City. When had he ever spoken to someone in such a submissive manner? In Yunwu City, no one had ever dared to defy his words. This was the first time he had lowered his head, and he swore that this would be the last time. Li Fuchen didn't speak. In just a short moment, Shintu Lang arrived. With Shintu Jianhe's support, Shintu Lang didn't show any signs of fear and put on a sanctimonious look. Seeing Shintu Lang, Li Xiaodai was agitated and her eyes were filled with hatred. You are Shintu Lang? Li Fuchen inquired. That's right. I was at fault for this incident, but it was unintentional. Furthermore, she was the one who seduced me and wanted to cheat me of my wealth. There are plenty of people in Yunwu City who can testify. You cannot believe her one-sided words. Shen Tu-lang quibbled. Die. Li Fuchen didn't want to waste his breath. He unsheathed his sword and slashed across Shen Tu-lang's neck. A head fell to the ground. Shen Tu-lang died with his eyes wide open. Even at death's door, he couldn't understand why Li Fuchen dared to kill him in front of his cousin brother, Shen Tu-genhe. Was there still any law? Everyone was stunned. Li Xiaodai was stunned too. Li Fuchen didn't ask anything and killed Shen Tu-lang just like that. Chapter 175. Shen Tu-genhe's body was trembling. This was too much. This was too much. He already asked for Shen Tu-lang's respect, but Shen Tu-lang didn't even question him and killed him with a single blade. So what if he was a direct disciple? A direct disciple shouldn't trample on his dignity. What's more, he had some background in the Zhonglan sect. You dare kill my clansman? Shen Tu-genhe roared and drew his sword. So what if I killed him? This kind of person should have died 1,000 times. Leaving him alive is a scourge. Of course, your Shen Tu clan is also a scourge. Li Fuchen didn't give any face. Bastard. Revolving the 14th rank Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique, Shen Tu-genhe's body emitted a blazing scarlet fire chi. With a shake of his sword, layers of sword lights surged towards Li Fuchen. Mystic class, low-tier sword art, stacked cliff sword style. This sword art was cultivated by Shen Tu-genhe for 30 years and was already at the perfection stage. Once executed, even a high-leveled Earth Realm martial artist would be killed without any resistance. Break! Li Fuchen's sword pierced into the middle of the sword lights. Rumble! Sword chi crisscrossed, creating a sword chi storm on the empty ground of the city lord's residence. The ground was filled with holes. Amidst the storm, a figure flew out and crashed into a large tree, breaking it. Worthy of being a 5th-level Earth Realm martial artist, and he even cultivates the Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique. Li Fuchen wasn't surprised. Even with the 13th rank True Inferno Technique, Scarlet Fire Intent, and Meteor Sword Intent, he still wasn't a match for Shen Tu-genhe. Shen Tu-genhe was after all at the 5th level of the Earth Realm, for levels higher than him. He was repelled. The city lord's residence was overjoyed, while Li Xiaodai was terrified. Li Fuchen, today, I shall let you know the difference between us. Shen Tu-genhe tiptoed and shot towards Li Fuchen like an arrow released from a bow. Shen Tu-genhe, don't celebrate too early. I have yet to go all out. Activate. Activating the mystical dragon secret technique, Li Fuchen's true Inferno Chi was quickly converted into mystical dragon Chi. The mystical dragon Chi was extremely condensed, like magma, surging within Li Fuchen's body. At the same time, a substantial aura erupted, enveloping Shen Tu-genhe. Shen Tu-genhe had a shocked expression. He could feel a surging heat wave erupting from Li Fuchen, causing his chi presence to crumble. Under the envelopment of the heat wave, Shen Tu-genhe felt his body becoming a few times heavier. He wasn't as light as before and felt a burning sensation on the surface of his skin. How can his aura be so strong? Shen Tu-genhe could not understand. The aura was made up of 2 parts. One was the aura, and the other was the spirit will. One's aura was related to one's Zhenqi. The higher one's cultivation and the stronger the cultivation technique they practiced, the more terrifying one's aura would be. One's spirit will was related to one's cultivation level. The higher one's cultivation level, the higher one's spirit will. Of course, some people were born with a strong spirit will. Li Fuchen's spirit will was originally normal. But that year when he lost his talent, every time he cultivated, his soul spirit would feel like it was being torn apart. It tempered his spirit will to be like steel. Then, with the golden amulet transforming his soul spirit will turn from a normal steel to a precious metal. Not only was it indestructible, it was sharp and had a strong, killing power. Apart from that, the mystical dragon secret technique also contained the dragon's prowess. With the multiple layers, Li Fuchen's chi presence was even more superior than his own ability. Defeat. A dazzling sword light pierced through Shuntu Jianhe's chi protection and penetrated his body. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Shuntu Jianhe was sent flying and got stuck in the thick wall. The tables turned too quickly, no one could react in time. By the time they reacted, Shuntu Jianhe was already severely injured. Everyone from the city lord's residence was disappointed. At this moment, they realized that from now on, the Shuntu clan was no longer the sky of Yunwu City. It was unknown if the Shuntu clan could continue to exist in peace. But no one dared to say anything. No one dared to glare at Li Fuchen with anger. Direct disciples were not to be disobeyed. Disobeying a direct disciple was the same as disobeying the Azure Water sect. Many thanks, Big Brother Fuchen. Li Xiaodai murmured in her heart. In the eyes of others, Li Fuchen was unreachable. But in the eyes of Li Xiaodai, Li Fuchen was like the morning sun, bringing her endless warmth. Even her sorrow seemed to lighten up. Retrieving the gold-class direct disciple token from his waist, Li Fuchen declared, "I am a gold-class direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. From today onwards, Shuntu Jianhe shall be relieved of his position as Yunwu City's city lord. Within 3 days, all Shuntu clansmen shall move out of the city lord's residence. Anyone who disobeys shall be killed without mercy." Direct disciples had a prestigious status, but gold-class direct disciples had an even more prestigious status. Out of the hundreds of thousands of Azure Water sect members, there were only 31 gold-class direct disciples. As a gold-class direct disciple, Li Fuchen had the authority to temporarily remove Shuntu Jianhe from his position as city lord. This was the authority given to him by the sect. Of course, the upper echelons of the sect would send someone to investigate. If it was just Li Fuchen's unreasonable actions, Shuntu Jianhe would still be reinstated as the city lord and Li Fuchen would have to receive a heavy punishment. Gold-class direct disciple? Shuntu Jianhe, who was still conscious, fell into a daze. Li Fuchen wasn't actually a silver-class direct disciple, but a gold-class direct disciple. For a moment he felt the world spinning and fainted. Reaching out his hand to suck Shuntu Lang's head over, Li Fuchen said to Li Xiaodai, "With Shuntu Lang's head as a sacrifice, I believe Uncle's spirit will rest in peace. Let's go." Li Xiaodai nodded lightly. In just a day, the news of Li Fuchen removing Shuntu Jianhe from his position as Yunwu City's city lord was like a storm that swept across the entire Yunwu City. At the same time, other news about Li Fuchen were also spreading. Direct disciple. Gold-class direct disciple. Removing the Li clan's patriarch, Li Taizhan, and supporting his father, Li Tianhan. Killing his way into the city lord's residence, killing a Shuntu clan's guest, killing Shuntu Lang, severely injuring the city lord, Shuntu Jianhe, and finally removing him from his position as city lord. No matter which piece of news it was, they were all soul-stirring. It was like a divine thunder from the 9 heavens, causing everyone in Yunwu City to be in a daze. Those who were persecuted by the Shuntu clan all had tears in their eyes. As for the majority of the people, they started to worship Li Fuchen. To be Li Fuchen, to be able to remove the city lord just like that. How awe-inspiring and domineering was that? As for those who offended the Li clan and Li Fuchen, they were all terrified. Especially the Guan and Yang clans. These two clans had conflicts with the Li clan, and it wasn't a small conflict. The Yang clan was in dead silence. The Guan clan was also in dead silence. The upper echelons of the two clans were frowning. The Guan clan's patriarch, Guan Yu, was regretting so much that his intestines turned green. The Guan clan's founder, Guan Tong, was in a daze. During the genius contest, he sent a message to threaten Li Fuchen. What should he do now? Chapter 176. The Guan, Yang, and Shuntu clans weren't having a good time, but the Li clan was in a celebratory mood. Their young clan head was now a gold-class direct disciple of the Azure Water sect. Who would dare to provoke or oppress the Li clan in the future? For the past 10 years, the Li clan was considered one of the 4 major clans, but it only existed in name. Even though Yunwu City was just a small city, it had a population of over 200,000 and 1 million people within its borders. With a decent population base, the three major clans had a combined annual income of over 1 million gold coins, of which the Yang clan accounted for half of it, with an annual income of around 500,000 gold coins. The Guan clan was second with 400,000 gold coins. But the Li clan had less than 200,000 gold coins. The reason why it was so low was due to the combined efforts of the Yang and Guan clans, as well as the secret suppression from the Shintu clan. 10 years ago, the Li clan had 70 to 80 shops in Yunwu City. But today, there were only 30 over shops. As for the Shintu clan being the City Lord's clan, the sect rules stated that the City Lord's clan was not allowed to do business. But to do business, they had to pay taxes. In addition, every clan had to pay taxes too. In addition, with the fawning from various factions and secret income, the Shintu clan's income was undoubtedly the highest. As for the exact amount, only the City Lord, Shintu Jianhe, knew. Now that the Li clan had Li Fuchen, not only could they return to the peak, they could even surpass it. Silver Rich City, City Lord's residence. Uncle, that Li Fuchen is too arrogant. You have to seek justice for me. Xiang Jiyu pleaded with Silver Rich City's City Lord, Xiang Tianxiong. Xiang Tianxiong's expression was unsettled. Tomorrow, I will bring you to apologize. Alright, what? Xiang Jiyu subconsciously nodded, but quickly reacted. Not only did her uncle not seek justice for her, he wanted to go with her to apologize? Hearing this, Li Yunhe was dumbfounded. He was worried that something might happen to Xiang Jiyu, hence he brought along 2 bodyguards and followed her. Why, uncle? Is our Xiang clan afraid of a direct disciple? Cousin brother is also a direct disciple, and has been since a few years ago. Xiang Jiyu couldn't accept it. Jiyu, you are too reckless. From outside the hall, a youth walked in. Xiang Jiyu and Li Yunhe turned around. Xiang Jiyu said, Brother Tianxiong, why are you back? It is fortunate that I am back. Do you know that direct disciples are also separated into different grades? I am only a silver class direct disciple in the Azure Water sect, while Li Fuchen is a gold class direct disciple. Xiang Tianxiong was resentful that Xiang Tianxiong didn't live up to his expectations. Gold class direct disciple? Xiang Jiyu was stunned. A gold class direct disciple has the authority to dismiss an ordinary city's city lord, but a silver class direct disciple doesn't have this authority. Not to mention my Xiang clan, even a large city's city lord clan wouldn't dare to provoke a gold class direct disciple. They would try to curry favor with them, but you actually offended a gold class direct disciple. Dismiss the city lord. Xiang Jiyu and Li Yunhe gasped. A gold class direct disciple had too much authority to actually be able to dismiss a city lord. Xiang Tianxiong continued, don't even mention that Li Fuchen is a gold class direct disciple. Even if he was a silver class direct disciple, we still wouldn't dare to provoke him. A 19-year-old silver class direct disciple has a much higher status than me. Do you really think that just because our Xiang clan is glorious, we can casually offend anyone? Let me tell you, if we provoke someone we shouldn't provoke, the Xiang clan might lose its glory in a single day. Then what should we do? Xiang Jiyu panicked. She was indeed pampered, but it didn't mean that she didn't have any brains. If the Xiang clan lost its glory, she as a Xiang clan's descendant would truly be worthless. This wasn't the life she wanted. Apologize, and it has to be sincere. Other than that, just apologizing isn't enough. We can allow the Li clan to open a shop in Silver Rich City. Xiang Tianxiong spoke without any hesitation. He had just returned from the Azure Water sect a few days ago, hence, he knew everything about Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen might only be a normal bone frame, but from his current potential, he probably surpassed most of the gold class direct disciples. Even if he had 10 times the guts, he wouldn't dare to provoke Li Fuchen. Xiang Tianxiong nodded. Tianxiong is right. Just apologizing isn't enough, we have to support the Li clan's business. Uncle, cousin brother, I was wrong. Xiang Jiyu's heart had a trace of fear. She was afraid that Li Fuchen would bear a grudge against her and the Xiang clan. Xiang Tianxiong laughed. Jiyu, this incident might have brought a crisis to our Xiang clan, but it isn't without benefits. If this Li Fuchen is magnanimous, our Xiang clan can just happen to have a good relationship with the Li clan. Having a good relationship with a gold-class direct disciples clan would have a huge impact on the future. Your cousin brother is right. This is a crisis, but also an opportunity. Xianxia nodded. This was also the reason why he didn't get angry, if not he would have already berated Xiangjieyu. Xiangjiyu's mind was in a daze. At this moment, she suddenly felt how insignificant she was. This world was too complicated. She had only been living under the Xiang clan's glory and didn't understand much about this world. Li clan. There were too many people who came over these few days. All the big and small factions of Yunwu City came one after another. Even though they knew that giving gifts now was just icing on the cake and the Li clan might not remember their kindness. But if they didn't give any gifts, the Li clan might suspect them. They didn't seek to ascend to the next level, they just wanted to maintain their current status. Tianhan, there are too many people coming over these few days. Shen Yuyan felt helpless and proud at the same time. When a man achieves greatness, even his chickens and dogs rise to heaven. Their son, Li Fuchen, did well and they benefited from it. It would be a lie to say that they weren't happy or proud. Li Tianhan said, "This is how the world is. If you are strong, others will come to curry favor with you. But we cannot separate ourselves from this world. If they come to give gifts, then let them do it. It would be a waste to reject them." After being the patriarch for a few years, Li Tianhan understood the ways of the world. Since they couldn't change this world, they could only adapt to it. Stubbornness would only lead to self-destruction. And I understand. Shen Yuyan nodded. How could she not understand this logic? Patriarch, Silver-Rich City Lord, Xiang Tianxiong seeks an audience. A Li clan's martial artist entered the meeting hall and informed Li Tianhan and Shen Yuyan. Xiang Tianxiong. Li Tianhan and Shen Yuyan looked at each other. In the past, people like Xiang Tianxiong were high above them. Not to mention their Li clan, even the Shen Tu clan wasn't worthy of Xiang Tianxiong's attention. Who would have thought that Xiang Tianxiong would take the initiative to seek an audience today? Let us go out and welcome him, Shen Yuyan said. All right. Li Tianhan felt that it was reasonable. Outside the hall, Xiang Tianxiang, and Xiangjiyu were all there. Seeing Li Tianhan personally coming out to welcome him, Xiang Tianxiong spoke with fear and trepidation. Patriarch Li, how can I trouble you to personally welcome me? I am here today to bring my niece to apologize. Li Tianhan sized up the timid Xiangjiyu and said, City Lord Xiang, please come in. No matter what, let's go in first. Welcome to Immortal Cultivation Audiobooks, your gateway to the mystical world of Xianxia. Dive into legendary tales of martial arts, spiritual growth, and immortal ascension. Here, we bring you full-length English audiobooks of the best Wuxia and Xianxia stories, from young prodigies to ancient sect wars. Perfect for fans of Against the Gods, Martial World, and tales of demons and gods.